Welcome to Con Con Conversations. What's goody in the hoodie, my guy? How are you? Um, so I had to set things up a little different. I'm kind of tight. I recorded like a full hour, and my mic thingy was not recording on my tablet, my iPad, and now I am a little concerned that my other video may have been in that way because there was only like one video I think that I switched to my iPad, but in any case, no audio was picked up whatsoever, and that means I have an hour of footage of me talking and no sound. Oh, I'm so mad. I was so mad. I actually, I get tired very quickly when it comes to talking. I am not accustomed to talking for such lengthy amounts of time. And I don't think I've given podcasters enough credit before when they did. Um, so yeah, I had to switch the setup a little bit. I had to get back to my little Rode. I don't know what brand this is, but I'm holding it in my hand and hoping that it doesn't pick up the sound of the fish tank in the living room behind me. I don't know. I'll find out later. Um, so in this second take of the episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about power. I know, it's such a crazy word, right? So, power to me means different things in the sense of someone wielding power. I think of the ability to influence, the access to the resources to facilitate something, change, more power, whatever people use their power for that I don't know about or haven't tried. I don't know. I'm just a girl. So there's that. And then there's power in the sense of feeling power, right? And when I think of feeling power, if I have to sum it up in if I had to sum it up in 3 words, I would say when you feel power, you feel confident, you feel capable, and you feel strong. That's like the 3 words I would use to sum it up. So I'm not going to get into the reasons why I'm talking about this episode, partially because I'm not even sure I'm allowed to. The reasoning, but I can talk about this topic. So when it comes to what does it mean to be in your power, what I think of, and you're gonna notice a lot that I'm gonna try my best to phrase things in the sense of I think, I feel, because I'm not gonna try to talk for you. And there are things that I talk about that I'm not an expert in. So why would I claim I know unless it's something within my professional studies? And even then, I'm a firm believer of beware of the person who knows. And I say that because, especially in the field of science, what is true today may not be true tomorrow, depending on the most relevant research and the most relevant facts that are not biased. Yes. I love the ever evolving nature of science. Love it. So, when I talk about what it feels like to be in power, I think of somebody who is aligned with their self, somebody who is in tune with what it is that benefits them, somebody who is behaving, thinking, interacting in ways that are within their best interests. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of times that we think what we're doing is the best for us. May not be the case later, but I do genuinely feel like as long as you are acting in your best interest, what is going to help you get to your goal, what is going to help you get to where you need to, tends to be a good sign that you're doing the right things. Just be open to change later. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, that's what I think of. Somebody who is clear cut on them. I don't know. When I think of somebody who's in their power, I think of somebody who's like, you cannot shake them, you cannot sway them, you cannot convince them of otherwise things that are not in their best interest. Like, this person is firm on who they are, on what they believe, on their principles, and their code of ethics. Like, to me, that is power. That is what it feels to be in power. Or in your sense of power, I guess. That's what I think of. What do you think of? What do you think of when you hear the term power? Whether it's in the physical sense of using power or in the more emotional sense of what it means to feel power. I would love, love, love if you can pause the video, or maybe wait to the end. I'll remember to tell you again later. Drop a comment. What do you think of when you hear power? What do you think of? What do you feel? What do you visualize? That hand gesture kind of scared me a little to see on screen. I don't want people to misinterpret that. Ooh. What do you think of? What do you visualize? What do you feel when you hear the term power? Drop it in the comments. So, back on topic. I'm going to do my best not to get into side quest conversations. Apologies if I do. My bad. The thought train stays chugging. And when it stops and it's silent, trust me, you'll know. You'll know when I've lost my train of thought. When it comes to when it comes to feeling what it is to be in your power, I associate the things I mentioned before. You're not somebody who can be fucked with. I mean, realistically, we all have our moments. We are all human. We go through the motions. I get a little weary when I see, like, titles of YouTube videos that are like, learn to be someone that can't be fucked with. Learn to be somebody who da 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 da. Like, it's like an absolute, like, nothing with humanity is really that absolute. Like, I'm getting too deep into this. Needless to say, there's a lot of times where, like, we are not always our best. We are not always doing and saying the things that aren't that great. Like, every once in a while, we make dumb decisions. We step out of character, and that's okay. That's okay. Try your best not to do damage in those moments. Like, you don't want to start hurting people. You don't want to start becoming a bad influence to those around you and negatively impacting them. It happens. It's okay to acknowledge that. And I think that's going to be part of our conversation as well. So, I shared a little bit of what it feels like to me to be in power, what resonates or what I think of when I hear power. But what does it actually look like when we are in our state of being in power? What does that look like? What does that feel like? I may not be able to speak for you, but for me, it is a drastic difference. Like when I am not aligned with myself, when I am not truly with myself, in my sense of power, oh, she not pretty. Let me tell you what it looks like when I am though. When I am consistent in the expectations I hold for myself. So I go to the gym regularly, routinely, I should say, not regularly, because Leo going every day of the week, Leo Skeppy, I'll get there. I'll get there. While my snack crackle knees, right, Rice Krispie knees can make it, and I can handle the snack crackle pop, I got you. I routinely go to the gym. I would routinely do my meal prep. I keep up my self-care and my hygiene. And yes, hygiene needs to be talked about, because whether we like to say it out loud or not, when we are not at our best, when we are not our most confident, our most capable, when we do not feel our strongest, when we do not feel within our power, things happen. We start slipping up on our self-care. Maybe we don't eat the best. Maybe we're showering regularly, we're keeping up our bodies, but are we washing our hair regularly? Like little things like that. It's when I start to do things that I know don't feel good, and I know I probably am going to regret later, that's how I know I'm not in my power. That's the biggest tell for me. Like when I'm in my power, even if it's things that I don't love doing, but I know it's going to be good for me, and that's why I push myself to do it. That's how I know. That's how I know. Like, you think I love doing laundry all the time? No, but doing laundry is necessary. It feels good, and it lets me know I'm on top of my shit. All these little cleaning shorts that you be seeing me doing, do not get the wrong idea. I don't like cleaning. I don't like cleaning that much. I like the satisfaction of the result. I like what comes out of it. I like the reward. I hate doing it though. My God, it's so much work. It's so tiring. What comes out of it though, it's what makes it worth it for me. So when my space is tidy, that lets me know I'm in my power. I'm doing good. Your space is a very big reflection of your brain. It is. And I'm sure you've heard it before. Like how you treat your space, how you upkeep it. It is a reflection of your brain. If you've got a busy brain, you're going to have a busy room. I'm not like a therapist or like a licensed professional to be like diagnosing things, but keep in mind I'm speaking from my truth, my experience. Okay? This is how I know. Right? Like I meal prep, I plan my days, I use my little planner, my little scheduler, even if there's times where like I don't want to look at it and I'll try to ignore it, but my habit won't let me. You know, those little signs, that's how I know I'm in my power. What does that look like for you? Do you know? Do you even know? Have you spent the time with yourself to figure that out? Can you? Are you able to just be with yourself long enough to figure out what that looks like? What your interests look like? What you do like and what you don't like? Especially when it comes to treatment. You don't realize just how many things you are and aren't willing to tolerate until you just take a moment to be by yourself, and then you go back. You're like, what was that? I don't like that. Is that always like that? I don't like that. Or like, oh my God, I love that. How could I have never realized how much I love this? I need more of this. I need more of this kind of interaction. I'm loving this. You'll know. The key is to spend time with yourself and get to know yourself. And unfortunately, that is a challenge to do for whatever reason, whether it's kids or if you're, oh God, I hope nobody this young is watching my YouTube. If you're underage and your parents are restricting you from being alone, like whatever the reasoning is, if you cannot find the time, the space, the ability to get to know you, to spend time with yourself, do a little exercise, do a little envisioning. I don't know if that's the best word to use, but run through the motions of what it would look like if there was no outside influences, no one to tell you right from wrong. No, let's take that one back, because I'm not encouraging imagining crime. I'm not doing that. That's not what this exercise is for. I want you to picture. You see, I'm not a professional. I'm trying to prompt you to explore yourself mentally. That's my attempt here. So think, what would you do on your perfect day? What would that look like? What would that feel like? What would you wear? Where would you go? Who are you with? Are you even with anyone? Are you by yourself? Did you realize that you would want to do it with people or by yourself? Did you know? Interesting. Do that little exercise. Grab a pen or pencil, grab paper. It's always better to write things mechanically than it is to type it out. You don't get that kind of connection when you type things on a screen, but you can if you really need to. Really just write down, like, who am I when I'm my best, when I'm my most confident? What do I do? What can I do? What do I wear? What am I thinking? What are you thinking when you feel that great? When you are in your power, when you are aligned, when you are your most youest you? What's going on? If you want to pause the video, come back and finish it another time, that's okay. This is not an easy exercise to do. It's not easy for everyone, especially if you are not accustomed to being alone, to being with yourself, by yourself. That's hard. That took me time. If you are anything like me, I soar up and down. I know what I like. I know my hobbies. I know who I am. I love to spend time with myself. My behavior did not support that. I was not taking myself out. I was not doing those hobbies and those interests unless there were others around me. Other people wanted to get included. Like, I knew what I liked, but my behavior was not engaging in the things that I liked and the things that I needed to feel good. That took time. That took patience. That took a lot of fumbling and getting back up. It took figuring out what discipline means to me and what does that look like. And when I say discipline, I mean committing to consistency. Not like, bow. You know, like I'm not... I could have just said like self-punishment. I didn't need to bow, but if you know, you know. I digress. So yeah, take that moment to visualize what does that look like, and then what does it look and feel like when that gets fucked up? What does it look and feel like when that is not the case? I'm not saying imagine your worst day now. I don't want you to try to imagine like, oh my god, my worst day would be I get robbed and then I get jumped. Like, that's not... No, I'm saying if you still go about that day, what are the things that would trip you up? What are the kind of thoughts that come when you're not feeling your best? What are the behaviors that you do as a result? Like, if I'm irritated as fuck, I will think that being quiet and to myself is doing a service that people don't have to feel my wrath. Yeah, I would think that. This is what I mean, though. I think I am doing people a service by isolating. I think that my emotions are too much for people to handle. I think that I am too mean, too angry, too emotional, too reactive, too much. And that feels sucky. That doesn't feel good. I don't feel happy when I think like that. So that's unfortunately what I'm asking you to do. To think about the negative. And then I want you to go back to the positive because we don't end on a negative note here, okay? The point is to recognize, to have a reference of what that looks like on a regular day-to-day. What can that look like? You need to get to know yourself. What version of you are you when you're at your best? What version are you when you are not the best version? What do they look like? How do they differ? And that will be your reference to see the signs. I saw the signs. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so that should prompt you. Yes, but for everyone else who has a little sense of confidence that they know these things, I would still implore you to try it out. You might surprise yourself with some of the things that you write down. Like when I did this exercise, I didn't picture my perfect day, including going to work. I didn't. The thing is, I also recognize that when I have something to do, when I have something to work for, when I have something and not too much free time, I do better. Free time and stagnancy is the bane of my existence. Ugh. Like, there are so many people who are like, oh, I just wish I had more time. I wish I had more free time. Like, no, I finally learned how to manage my time. I just need to keep myself moving towards something that keeps me sane, that keeps me happy. Yeah, I don't know how people are okay with just doing nothing all day, every day. Like, and maybe this is a sign that you are not your best self, but when I'm like that, I've been there before. It sucks. I had like no aspirations to do anything, to try to better myself, to try to learn, just to pretty up and take care of myself. It's not for me. Not anymore. C'est la vie. I'm so happy. I actually don't know what c'est la vie means. I don't. I'm guessing based on like the manner in which it is typically used. I don't know what it means. I'm gonna Google it later. So, great. You've identified what it looks like to be in your power, what it looks like to be your best self, and what it looks like when that's not the case. Cool. So, that's the important part. Just because you are educated enough to know what to look for doesn't mean you have the wisdom to recognize something in that moment and do something about it. Okay, so that is the next step. Doing what you can to be conscious of when you are seeing one or the other, when you are feeling one side or the other, when you are thinking in one way or the other. What you wrote down or what you reflected on, it is just a reference, okay? There's no such thing as a perfect day. Sorry. There's only so many things you control. It's okay. It's not our fault. We're just humans. We're little bags of water and a mixture of stardust and some bacteria. I try to like really make it seem like the whole human experience. It's like, it's not that serious. We're not that big. And I feel like I did not do a good job of describing humans in that light, but that's okay. It is what it is. It's done. I'm not editing it out. Once I do get to the point where like I'm genuinely editing the videos, not only will you know, I'll have more free time to do that. I have in my schedule allocated time just to record, and then backup time as a hard deadline that I sacrifice my scheduled other things for, that I'm willing to shift around if it means making this. No side quest conversations. Darn. Okay, so you have your reference guide. Now you need to recognize it. You gotta identify it. And in order to do that, you gotta go through it. Like, you're not gonna identify nothing if nothing is happening. It's really, you're seeing those moments, and not everyone becomes aware in the moments. Like, you're so busy being present, or I hope you would be, that typically the reflection and the wisdom to recognize what is going on, that usually occurs after the fact. That's okay. The important part is you do that step. So, boom, bam, pow. You know what? I had this day. I felt great going to the library. And I didn't feel great when I had to clean. I did feel great when I was finished cleaning and I got to just relax. I didn't like when so and so said something and I felt insecure, or I felt angry, or I felt sad. Listen, nobody can control your feelings. I used to really hate. It ground my gears when people say, I can't control how you feel, but it's true. Realistically, we are not responsible for how individuals interpret what it is that we say or feel. Please do things with good intentions. That is still the truth, though. Right? So let's say somebody said X, Y, and Z, and I didn't feel a type of way. Why does that symbolize not being in my power? Well, I was the one that allowed this individual to influence my state of being, not somebody else. They may have said it, but some people wouldn't care. Some people would ignore it. Some people wouldn't feel it, but for whatever reason, in this example, I felt a type of way, and that was a moment of lapse on my end for allowing that to impact me. And the feelings and the thoughts that I'm getting is just a result of allowing that to hit me. Allowing the bullet to get through my shield, so to speak. Ooh, I am so sorry for anyone who has engaged in any sort of gun violence or trauma. I'm so sorry. Again, trying my best to be mindful. I want people to feel comfortable. That's just the example that came to my head. I'm sorry, sweetie. I'll try to give not a T warning. I will try my best to give you a warning ahead of time if something like that comes up. So, what have we gone through so far, right? What does it mean or feel like to be in your power? What does that look like when you are? What does it look like when you're not? Utilizing this as a reference guide, putting it into practice by reflecting on whatever happened through the day and identifying what were those things that you may have noticed before that you're noticing now. Is there anything that you haven't noted down from before? It happens. Like I said, be open to surprising yourself. It's okay. Now, how do we get you back in your power? Remember the reference sheet? The things that make you feel good, the things that symbolize that you are in your power. The best way to get back in your power, to do the things that mimic you being in your power. In other words, I'm not saying fake it till you make it. I'm saying do it until it's real. That sounds exactly the same. Wow, I'm trying to entice a different interpretation of this saying. Okay, when I say fake it, right? Fake it till you make it. Don't literally be like a whole different person. Like, you're still being you. It's just the kind of you that hasn't had those interferences. That's what I want you to go for. And eventually, as you go through the motions, the thoughts will change in response to those motions. The feelings will change in response to those thoughts. The actions you take will change in response to those feelings. As one of my old therapists used to say, I don't know if she remembers me. Hey, Rachel, if you ever see this, hey. She was great. How dare she not take my insurance anymore? The audacity. Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to beliefs. Beliefs lead to action. Actions lead to results or consequences. Whatever it is you do, one of them is going to happen. And you know what? Consequence. Because consequence doesn't have to be a bad thing. So that has to be a bad thing. As a consequence to me eating less sugar, my skin cleared up more. It's a positive consequence, no? I'm saying that under this makeup. Anyway. So that is how you get back into your power. Doing the things that make you the most you. It's a challenge to get back to that once you feel not great. It's hard. It takes time too. It's not an immediate thing. Although if you put on some dembo, it's hard to feel bad when you got dembo on. Just DEMBOW, dembo. Dominican dembo. If you feel some kind of way, you feel sad. I'm about to check the spelling for dembo because now I'm overthinking it. It's hard to feel bad when you're listening to dembo. No, yeah, I spelled it right. DEMBOW. Dembo. Right? As long as you are starting to feel better, to feel more like you, everything will start to fall back into place as it should. And it's okay to be like, wow, I can't believe I got like that. Wow, I can't believe I fell off the horse or I strayed away from my consistency or my discipline. That's okay. He's okay. Acknowledge it. Look at how far off you've strayed, and then act accordingly to get back to where you need to be. So, why do I bring this up? I'm going to speak very carefully about this topic because it does pertain to certain workplace legal stuff that I am not looking to get in trouble with later. I'm still exploring my social media presence and all that and the things I'm comfortable putting out there and talking. I additionally do like my job. Not looking to quit at this time. Now, realistically, when people ask like if I'm gonna stay at my job, I tell them straight up like I either stay here or I become a millionaire. Whatever happens long term, those are my only two. Yes. So what had happened was there was a circumstance with a certain legal representative who went about things in a way that hit me personally. And I kept my composure. I did what I needed to up until the point they got off of the meeting. They got out. And then moments of vulnerability started to trickle in, or should I say trickle down. I'm a crier, y'all. I'm such a crier, and I get told so much. Stop crying. Don't cry in public. Don't cry at work. First of all, I try. I try so hard to control my crying, and like I've gotten better over the years of like taking my breaths, recognizing when my body's having the reaction that entices tears. In addition, I also really like crying. It is very soothing just to have a quick cry. the important part is, and this is where I take my power back, and what I did today, after my cry, powdered my face back up. I'm reconsidering getting waterproof mascara no matter how much I hate it. I hate it so much, but I might need it. Powder my face, zhuzh up my hair, check the fit, and if that doesn't work, go take a walk, get back to homeostasis. I could have used an easier word. Get back to alignment, get back to my center, get back to equilibrium. You get it. There are also other methods that you can do, like sometimes actually doing those little hobbies like my art, journaling, those kind of things, they do help. If those are things you need to do them. If you don't know what to do, speak to a professional, because I am not one. I can only talk about the stuff that I use. I cannot recommend coping mechanisms to help you get back to a good place when you are not there. Although if you are, intuitive therapy, they're a very new business. They take approaches differently when it comes to therapy, in the sense that they have a more holistic kind of approach. And if you're into it, I'm gonna drop the link in the description for y'all. Okay. But yeah, that was like the whole story. Like, there was a situation, I had to keep my composure. Once I felt I was in a safe space, I realized like I wasn't okay. I was not in my power because this person had affected me in ways that I permitted. It happens. I cried, I cleaned myself up, reminded myself of who the fuck I am, and then I kept pushing. That's how you get back to your power. Success is the best revenge, sweetie. Get back to who you are, get back to yourself, get it moving and grooving. I'm rooting for you. You're not alone. I'm here for you. I'm with you on this journey. Remember, I love you. Okay, please remember to like, subscribe, drop that comment. I'm reminding you again. I want you to write what you think and what you feel when you hear the word power. And as a little special way to kind of figure out who made it this long in the video, in that comment, put a little lightning bolt. Put a little lightning bolt. Electricity, power, duh. So yeah, put in what is it you think and feel when you hear the word power with a little lightning bolt in your comment. Like, subscribe. Maybe share this with somebody who may need it. I don't know. I don't know your life. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Love y'all. Bye.